What up, JT Nation? Today, we're talking about the secret sauce to long-term success. Relationships. It's no longer enough to just close a deal and move on. You need a system that builds trust from the very first handshake and turns a single transaction into a business of referrals. We'll cover everything from turning skeptical clients into believers to getting referrals without begging. Let's go. All right, team, let's get started with the first question.
My clients are so skeptical these days. How do I build real trust with them from the very first interaction, especially when they're so busy?
Yeah, look, I think building trust is, the way that I look at it anyways, is you want to put deposits into the trust account, so to speak. The same way that you put in deposits in a bank account. If you put in more deposits in the bank account, you could take withdrawals at some point, because at some point in the process, you're going to make mistakes. And as long as you've put some more deposits in through trust, you're going to be okay to take some withdrawals. We're all humans, and the people that we're dealing with in terms of our prospects and clients are humans as well. And one really quick way to start building trust with clients right at the start, like within that first, second interaction, is not exaggerating stuff, right? Like, give facts, black and white facts, so people that you're dealing with, prospects and clients, can make an informed quality decision themselves. It doesn't matter what service you're in terms of high ticket / relationship building sales. It's not going to be done on that first interaction 98% of the time. Yes, you're going to get lucky. People are going to email you. They're going to call you, say, I need a mortgage. Can you come just, do up my insurance policy? I need something from a life insurance perspective. Come list my house. That stuff does happen, right? But that's not predictable. You're not going to always know when people are going to come inbound. So you've got to be proactive and go outbound. And because of that, you're not going to sell people. You're not going to close people on that first interaction. And it's why what I did is recently, as recent as 4 months ago to be exact. So at the time of this recording, we're going into fall of 2025. I had to completely revamp my whole sales process and the sales funnel for my real estate business, because the market is not performing in terms of actual values. The amount of sales that are happening currently in the Greater Toronto Area, Canada, and North America, the numbers are down, and they're significantly down. In some areas, they're down by like 50%. And so as many sales as we would like to happen are not happening. There's a lot of problems people are going through. But what I've learned being in business now for a little over 21 years, being in the sales industry for coming up to 32 years to be exact now, is that when there is problems, that's when opportunities for you as an entrepreneur, business owner, salesperson start to present themselves. Because when there's problems, the guy or the gal that comes up with solutions is going to have sustainability in business, because we are all looking for solutions to the problems that we have. And so what I did in terms of revamping my whole sales process is, we used to call it was known as the real estate action plan, a plan to build out a portfolio. Well, that's not what people care about right now. They're thinking in terms of real estate anyways. My real estate clients, and I think it's safe to say right across North America, is fixing the problems within their real estate portfolio. They bought properties, they're in negative cash flow, they are losing money, they've lost their job, they might need to get rid of their principal residence, whatever it may be. So what we did is we changed the name. It started with understanding I need to find solutions for people, but how am I going to brand this? What is going to be the process? So now we call it a clarity call, to give people just black and white figures, facts, numbers, whatever you want to call it, so they can make an informed decision themselves. Here's what I would recommend that you do, whatever industry you're in. Send out an email, simple email. Don't make it all fancy. You don't have to go to the extreme that I do sometimes, just writing everything in the subject line, because I want to try to make it authentic as possible. That's why I do that sometimes, just from a time perspective. But don't do all the marketing aspect, don't do all the design and stuff to the email. Send an email literally writing, if you are facing current problems within X, whatever industry you're in, book a free 20-minute discovery call where we're going to give you some facts and then we'll go to the next step if what we're saying makes sense to you. Now, understand something. When you send out an email, if you're lucky, you're sending it out to 100 people, you're going to get a 20% open rate, 25, kind of max. 20, 25 people are going to open it. That leaves 75 to 80 people that are not. Follow up with the phone call, asking if they have any type of problem. And if they don't, say, awesome, great, we'll stay in touch. But you're going to find if you call 100 people, this will get you your next 10 appointments. Hands down. I know for sure that to be true. If you send out an email and then follow up with a phone call asking people if they have a problem, and then what you want to do, if there is, just say, look, this is not really the time that I'm going to go through this with you because I want to give it the respect it deserves. Side note, saying things like, I want to give it the respect it deserves. I don't want to rush this process right now. This is not the time for it. It automatically builds trust because then people know that you're not just trying to sell them something. And then you want to book another appointment, another meeting where you can uncover what their problem is. And then truthfully, big part of building trust, can you actually reverse engineer some type of solution for them? If not, tell them. Say, look, I can't help you here. I'm glad that I hope by you letting me know, it maybe helped with just sharing it with someone. Maybe here's a resource that I can give you, but I can't actually help you. They will respect you and they'll let people know. Understand something. Your first handshake isn't about selling. It's about solving problems. What's the next question, team?
My social media is all over the place. What's the one thing I should be posting that makes people see me as a trusted expert, not just another salesperson?
One of the ways to do that is understanding that content is really your proof of expertise. Because in today's day and age, you're allowing people to get to know you through video, audio, or the written word, which for this conversation, let's just call that the 3 ways that people consume content. They don't have to do anything, i.e. like they don't have to book an appointment with you to get any more information if done properly in terms of the content that you need to start putting out. What I started doing very, very early on in the part of my career when I started putting out social media, and a lot of it was because it just felt good for me to do it this way. Also, I did understand kind of psychology in terms of buyer psychology, which is don't be too pushy. Don't keep mentioning that you're in sales. So you don't always have to shoot a video and then at the start of it saying, it's Jas from XYZ company, make sure to give me a call. And that's what people usually say at the end. What I did very early on is, and like I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid here, guys. If you're watching and listening to this, it's exactly what I'm going to tell you to do, is just give unfiltered answers to people's questions. So what I did very early on is whatever questions I got from any of my buyers, my sellers, my investors, and then now in the coaching company, all questions that I get in and around how to do more deals, what type of content to put out, what to say in appointments, how to time block, any one of those things. When I get questions, I jot those down. I get hundreds of DMs and emails and texts every single week with questions of people wanting to do better in their business. And then what I do right here, I'm just answering them. Now, you're watching this or you're listening to this, you've kind of made your call already, I believe, if you got this far. Like, I either kind of like Jas's style or I don't like his style. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to get, and you're not going to get all 8 billion people on this planet. That's not your job. Your job is to get a few hundred people every single year, and whatever you're selling, you get a few hundred people every single year, you're going to make a very good living, and you're going to have the opportunity for them to send you more people in the future. And you do that by just answering questions unfiltered, not trying to sell. Just what you want to do is get the question. So here's your action. Take 3 questions every single week that you get. Side note, guys, if you're not getting 3 questions a week from prospects, from clients, past clients, from people on the street, the family, that you were at and with dinner with this past weekend, if you're not getting 3 questions in a week, you forget social media. Like, go meet more people, right? And so what you want to understand, if you're not getting 3 questions, I need to say this again because it's so important. If you're not getting 3 questions a week, you need to meet more people, because then you'll start to get more questions. Then you can take on this strategy, which is just answer them on video. Because if one person's thinking of a question, that's generally reflective of like thousands, I don't know the exact number, but thousands of people probably thinking the same question. That's how you start to prove your expertise, not just putting it on a business card or saying, I'm an expert in this area. You got to trust me. People, we're numb to that now as humans. We get 10,000 marketing messages. That type of message of, you got to trust me because I'm the expert, that doesn't make it past the filter in terms of those 10,000 marketing messages that we get every single day. And if you don't know that's really the number. You might not even know that you get 10,000 a day. That's how much our brain has gotten really good at filtering out some of the bullshit. And so the fastest way to get past that, possibly, right? Not anything I tell you, or let me rephrase this. Not everything I tell you will have 100% probability and guaranteed results, but you're going to be stacking the cards in your favor. And this is one of them, where you start to answer people's questions live. Just put it on video, 3 a week. I'm not asking for 3 a day yet. Okay. The more, the better after, but 3 times a week. And don't do the call to action stuff. Because part of the question was like, how do I become an expert, not a salesperson? Don't be salesy. That's it. Just don't be salesy. And one way not to be salesy is don't mention what company you're with and who. They'll find you. In fact, on social media, it's very easy. They're like, if they're watching a video, they just got to click one button somewhere on that video and they'll get right to your profile. In your profile, you can write down what you do and who you're with and all that kind of stuff. But in the videos, in the audio, if you guys watch all 300 episodes that I've done, I think this is episode 302. Maybe in 25 of them, I've mentioned my company name and all that. I know, you're not an idiot. You'll go find who I'm with. And even if you don't, thousands of people that have bought and sold real estate with me, that get into my coaching company. They do that on their own. And so don't mention your name or anything of that sort. But make sure you understand this. Content is the modern handshake. Your audience cannot buy from a ghost. What's next, team?
I'm so focused on the next deal that I never follow up with my past clients. How do I build a system to stay top of mind and get repeat business?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I say this on a regular basis, that you're not short on leads, you're short on following up. So I do appreciate you sharing that you don't follow up, because not a lot of people are willing to just outright say that, you know what, I suck at it. And that's okay. Because the good thing is that you don't need to be born with this. This doesn't need to be in your DNA, that you have to be an amazing follow-upper. You have to just upgrade your skills, right? So the CRM and nurturing aspect, and it's why it's one of my 5 pillars in my sales method, is the most powerful referral machine you have. Because this is the place where all the names, numbers, emails, that stuff, contact info, but more importantly, what they bought with you, their dog's name, their favorite sports team, reminders for you to follow up, is all centralized. It's all in one place. It's why your CRM is your gold mine. I think of one of my, I'm going to say my poster child in my coaching company. Her name's Abby, and I know she's okay if I share her name. She's had multiple businesses. And so when she got into real estate at exactly now 9 months ago, she came to me, and the first thing we did is, in all the businesses that she had, and she did a lot of B2B stuff, and she's like, Jas, I'm in B2B, I'm not sure if that's going to make sense for me to reach out to these people now that I'm in real estate, is what she's a real estate agent. I said, Abby, they're people. And they need to either maybe sell their property, they need to maybe buy. They, because it was B2B, they're business owners, they understand investing. But over and above that, right? Because what I've heard in the past with people, now Abby didn't say this, but I've heard this in the past, well, Jas, like they're business people and they probably have real estate agents. So even then, they know other people. So the job of the CRM is not to only get people that are in the CRM to do business with you, but they know other people. It's a very easy formula I've been working with for 21 years that I've been in real estate. Is that if you know 200 people that know 200 people that know 200 people, your network is now 40,000 people. And as I mentioned, and I mentioned so many times on social media, you need about 100, 200 people to do business with you every single year, and you're going to make a very, very good living. And if you're in one of the lower, higher ticket services in relationship building sales, I might need to do 300-400 people, whatever it may be. Out of 40,000, that's a lot. Like, that's very attainable, okay? What we had her do is segment her database. Make sure that she has the 4 segments in place. Do events every other month. Now, she's a beast, hence why she's the poster child of mine. She did an event every other week, 1 in person and 1 online, okay? And now what we've seen after 3 to 4 months, in fact, like her first event, she got a referral, did a deal. But I was like, let's put that aside. That's an outlier. I don't want you to get used to that right away. Yes, it does happen, but I want to make sure that we have this. I have your mindset, Abby, set from the perspective of that it's sustainable and predictable, where I need you to do this for a longer period of time. Fast forward 3 to 4 months later, she's now getting a couple of referrals that actually turn into deals every single month. Like clockwork. Why? She brought them value. Before bringing them value, you need to know, and she needed to know who to bring value to. Meaning, you got to have these people centralized. So here's one very simple tip. You could have 30 people in your cell phone that now need to go into a CRM. Here's your action. Just set up, even if it's 30, and I know most of you on average, on average have 100 to 200 people. I want you to set up one simple client appreciation event. That's it. In the next 5 months, 6 months, I'm giving you an ample amount of time here. Just set up one appreciation event. Now, don't think that it needs to be like done at, some banquet hall and black tie affair. None of that stuff. You don't need to go that far. Okay? Depending on what your budget is, you might be able to afford that. You partner up with some other people, other businesses, and you could do something like that. But from a simple perspective, all you need to do is just do an appreciation night at a restaurant. You don't even need to pay for things. You don't even need to do dinner. You can just do this on a Sunday afternoon at Jack Astor's. Maybe buy everybody a beer. It's a small investment. And you do it from it's going to be 2 to 4, come as you wish at whatever time in between 2 and 4. And the reason is because what you're doing now, instead of you reaching out and or trying to meet everybody one-on-one, those 30, 50, 500 people, you're having everyone come to you at once. Now make sure that at this event, you don't sell. You just shake hands, kiss some babies, find out what they're up to. Don't sell. All the selling will happen afterwards. What's next, team?
Everyone says they're an expert. How do I actually prove my value to a prospect without sounding like I'm just bragging?
One of the easiest ways to do that is to start teaching something and becoming the trusted source. And the way to do that would be through educational events, either in person or online. It is and has been my differentiator. And not that I'm the only one who does it right now currently, but I've been doing this for 21 years. And look, if it didn't work, I'm not here to say I'm one of the smartest guys in the world. I'm not the biggest idiot in the world, probably somewhere in between there, where if it didn't work, I would have stopped this. But the reason I know events work is because what I'm doing at these events is, and here's the strategy, right, is I'm bringing in either other trusted resources. So as a real estate agent, I always brought in mortgage guys. I brought in insurance girls. I brought in home inspectors, real estate lawyers. I brought in other people like as economists, and the list can go on. And if you're a financial advisor, you bring in a mortgage pro, and you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. And if you haven't, just reach out somewhere. The info's in the description there, where I just educated people. I told them exactly how to do the process that they paid me for. I tried to bring them value through education in learning something different, learning something new. I never sold at these events because I knew if I could get 30, 50 people at an event where I'm educating them and they actually showed up either in person or online, I knew that there was some type of interest. And so why push the sale on them at that time? Why not do it one-on-one post-event? Literally in the in-person event, after the event was done, while we were having some more coffee or some wine and some cheese, conversations got really deep, and we were doing like deals right on the spot. Not because I pushed a sale, because that's what they wanted. That's why they showed up. And when it's online, as long as you have their email address, best case scenario would be that you also have their phone number, either because that's what they did through registration or they're in your CRM. You then reach out to them and ask them simply, how was the event? And so here's your action tip. Just co-host an event. I don't even need you to do the event yourself. Just co-host one educational event. Bring someone in, another expert, because I know where your headspace is at right now. Jas, I can't be in front of the stage and do all the talking. So bring in another expert. Do it with them. Side note, you'll also get a high probability that they're going to invite people. So now the event gets bigger. And remember, the best sales events don't ever feel like sales at all, because if you want to start the process of becoming the trusted authority, you need to get people to trust you. And the way to do that is if you teach them something and not sell them. What's next, team?
I know referrals are the best leads, but I hate asking for them. What's a better way to get referrals without begging?
Well, look, first things first, there's an aspect about this that you have to get more comfortable with asking. I'm not saying you have to beg for referrals, but you do need to ask at times, because if you never ask, you're never going to receive. Simply put, there's a reason people like that saying or that cliche exists. Right? The one that never asks will not receive. And so I'm not here to tell you that you need to ask every single conversation, because that just gets annoying. And again, people just get turned off with that through their 10,000 marketing messages that they get on a daily basis. So first things first, just make sure that you get more comfortable with asking. And that just happens with experience. Experience always breeds confidence, okay, over time. Now, the second thing is understanding that you need to earn people's referrals. My first deal that I ever did in real estate 21 years ago was with a girl named Dee. And it was amazing what happened with her. I made sure that I earned the referrals that she gave me. And within a 4-year period, because I calculated this all, I made sure exactly, I knew exactly where the people were coming from. Most of the time she would like, here's someone's number, go give them a call. But within a 4-year period, I earned a little over $250,000 in referrals that she gave me. Not directly, by the way. There was a lot that came indirectly. So she referred me to Anthony. Anthony referred me to Catherine. Catherine referred me to Robert. Side note, these are all real names of people. Like that's how much I remember not only her, but all the people that she gave. How did I earn it? I never pushed any sales. In fact, now thinking about it 21 years later, it took me a year from the first day I met her for when she closed in the property. Now, most people say, Jas, like you sucked at that time because it shouldn't take you a year to close somebody or for a deal to happen. And you're probably right. Like, I don't think today's Jas would need a year or I would even stick with somebody for that long in terms of what I had to do with her. But I didn't know any better. So I showed her a bunch of things for a year, and we would go one by one, and it just took forever. But I got to know her on a human level of all the times that I showed her properties. She started to invite me to all the parties she was going to. She would invite me to lunch. We would go for coffee. She would then invite other people to those coffees and to those lunches and those dinners and her parties and the parties that she was going to. She was introducing me to people. I didn't even know. Like, my network was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and hence why I started to get so many more referrals. Going back to getting comfortable with asking, here's a quick little action tip for you. The next time a client says, oh, wow, that was very nice. Oh, wow, that was great service. Oh, wow, like, thank you for doing that. Like, these are real things that happens in the process. I want you to say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, thank you for noticing. And anyone that you ever introduce me to, I will always treat with white gloves on. Don't use the word referrals. Referrals are industry jargon. We got to we got to be very careful making sure that we don't use that when we're speaking to people, because referrals is not only industry jargon, it has like such an attachment from the perspective of, ooh, if I give a referral, first, like, it's such a business word, right? If I give a referral and if it doesn't work out, is Jas not going to like me now? And the person that I introduce him to, what if Jas screws up as the agent or as the coach? The other person's not going to like me. So what I use is the word introductions, because we're so used to giving introductions. Like, we said it back in our teenage days, like, hey, can you introduce me to your girlfriend? Can you introduce me to your boyfriend? Like that guy that you know, whatever it may be, right? And so by saying, Mr. and Mrs. Client, thanks for noticing. For anyone that you introduce me to, I just want you to know I'm going to treat them with white gloves on. That's what you're asking for a referral. Yes, I understand. Is there a more direct way of asking, i.e., who is the next person you know? Yeah, you can say that once, when they maybe firm up on a deal, because you can't say that every single time. That's why it looks like you're begging. The best way to get referrals is to earn them with a seamless client experience. That's your blueprint to building a business of referrals. We've talked about how to build trust, how to leverage your CRM for repeat business, and how to get referrals without begging. If you're ready to stop chasing and start building a business of referrals, check out Jas Takhar Coaching. The link is in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, keep crushing it.